Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel and thanks for joining. I'm just gonna get right into it. I had a long week, especially Friday, mentally for me and spiritually. I guess I would say I was challenged on Friday last week, so that is the reason why I missed a week. I know a lot of people have been asking like, where's that episode? And I'm like, I didn't want to dive into it because I was spiritually, I guess you would say, challenged in my thought and trying to deal with anger and hate and despise and all that stuff. So it was very challenging. So last Friday, I had got some bad news. Well, I'll view it as bad news about my cousin's murder case. I'll call it that. For people that don't know, my cousin was accidentally murdered. And the case has kind of taken a toll on me just because he was my little cousin. But the fact that I felt like it wasn't supposed to be his time to pass, and that's basically what I'll be getting into today, because I know I have a lot of family members that watch, and like I said, I kind of went through the week trying to like talk to God and grow in my relationship and figure out spiritually what was the challenge that I needed to get and the test that I needed to pass from this situation. So we got news about the case that I wasn't really happy about, I wasn't excited about, and it made me question God. And my thought was like, why is he allowing this? Why does he allow any bad things to happen to innocent people? Why does he allow all this crime and murder and death and all these sad events to happen? And especially to innocent people, like I said, people, babies, people that have the purest heart, purest joy, and he allows evil to overtake them and ultimately cause their demise. So I know a lot of non-believers have this question, like, if they always say, if your God is so caring and loving, why does he allow this? And I question that just because I was unhappy with the result. I felt like there was no justice. I felt like the judgment was not right. And I'm sure a lot of other people felt like that too. So I asked God, like, I literally asked him in my head, like, why? Like, why would you allow this? And then for us to feel like we'll wait for the right amount of justice to come, and it doesn't. Why are you making this worse? And the reality of it is the fact that he doesn't like it. And a lot of times non-believers think that he really loves it. They really think that he is thriving in these situations where unjust is happening in the world and innocent people are starving and dying. So the main thing that I came to the revelation of having is the fact that God actually doesn't like these things, and God doesn't enjoy seeing innocent people being taken away. But the fact that he can't intervene is because he gave us the free will and he's given us the power over earth. And it's like, yeah, ultimately he can produce miracles and raise people from the dead or situations that felt like they were dead. But the fact of the matter is that he's given us the free will to choose what we want to do in life. And people don't know him. People only know the devil. People only know evil. So when there's a battle between good and evil in this world is this world. This world is full of evil. This world is ultimately controlled by evil. Heaven is for God. Heaven is for people that were living justly on earth. But he can't truly manipulate it the way we would want him to, because at that point we're lacking free will that he's giving us. And a lot of this world is full with evil because they don't enlighten themselves with the power of God and knowing him and knowing how much good is better for you. Even if they are choosing the devil unknowingly, in the sense of like, even though they're not Satan worshipers, they're not following God. So if you're not following him, you kind of are, in a sense, doing the opposite and being influenced by the opposite. So yeah, you may not praise Satan or the devil, but you're not praising God. And so you're allowing yourself to be tempted by evil things. And it's very easy, even for Christians, to be tempted by evil things, such as the love of money, the love of greed, and like selfishness and stuff like that. So it's always a daily battle with evil and your free will of the choice of what decision am I going to make, and is that leading me into the kingdom of God? Is that leading me closer to him? Is that making me a better person? In my cousin's case, in that scenario, I think that the kid is unintentionally being influenced by the devil, and that was his free will to do what he did and the actions that he had made. And I think as a people, we need to be more enlightened to the spiritual realm, regardless if you're a believer or not, because there's so much power there that we are not able to see what's influencing us, even in music and like just daily life things, stuff that influence our decisions and our free will can turn us to do evil things, unjust things, stuff not filled with love. And if we're not filled with love for each other and humanity, then we will continue to be evil and continue to do things to people who are innocent, people who are full of love, people who aren't evil and don't have evil intent. And like I said, sometimes that happens unknowingly, like you are influenced unknowingly, and sometimes you're knowing what you're doing, aka a psychopath. Like, you know that you're harming people, you have no regard in that situation. So that's my answer to that, in the sense that God has given us free will to do whatever, and he can't really interfere on that, because at that point it wouldn't be free will and it wouldn't be us choosing to love God just because we want to. It's almost like he's in that sense he would be forcing us to love him, which isn't what he wants. He wants us to choose to do that. And that's why there's so much evil in the world, because Satan is busy tempting and testing people and trying to drive them away from the Lord. He doesn't really care for worshipers. He cares for people not worshiping God. And the other thing that I wanted to tap into is just the fact that Jesus, like I said, doesn't like it at all. The hurt and the pain and unjust things that happen to innocent people. And one verse that I want to mention that is, in fact, the shortest verse in the Bible is John 11, verse 35, which is literally Jesus wept. And that verse shows the humility and humanity and love that Jesus carried within him, and him being the Son of God. It's like he cries along with us. He cries about situations that upset us, especially if they were done with no moral or no care for whatever reason. It honestly brought me comfort just to think about that verse, because this verse was brought to me through another sermon where I'm like, it had nothing to do with the situation at hand about losing somebody close to you, but the fact that I heard that, it just settled in my spirit for that situation, that I am going through a sad situation or a moment in my life where I feel like defeated and upset and lost. I feel like justice wasn't served, and Jesus knows that because he's there with me, and he's weeping too with me, and he's not proud of the action or how everything played out, and he's sad about it. A lot of people talk about the story of Job with loss, which I think is a great story to introduce somebody to about losing anything, whether that's a person, finances, or literally anything. I think that verse, Jesus wept, is more heartfelt for me at this time, because it makes me know that Jesus is there with me, regardless of the situation, regardless how far away he seems during the situation, regardless if it feels like he should have intervened and he didn't. At the end of the day, it's like he's always going to be there, and with you while you're crying, with you while you're happy, and he'll share the same feelings that you're going through. So if you're sad, he's also sad. If you are happy, he is also pleased. And there's never a time where he gets any fulfillment or joy out of suffering and sorrow. Never a time. And like within the story of Job, it's all a test, because regardless, you don't want to lose anybody in your family. And when you ultimately have to go through that experience, it's a test to see how much of your sorrow are you going to put in him, how much of your pain are you going to give to him, so he can fulfill you with joy and peace and happiness throughout any situation. And times like these are tougher because you ultimately feel like God has failed you, in the sense of like, you have that heart for that person and you want them to stay with you forever. And in situations where they're taken too soon or haven't had a chance to fulfill their life, it feels like he failed you. Jesus is also weeping. So, anybody watching this that has lost anybody recently or even years ago, and you feel sometimes like there's a moment where God has left and you can't hear from him, and you feel alone, and you feel like he's purposely doing this to hurt you, just know that that is far from the truth, and he cares and loves for us. So it's a short and sweet episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will be back regular schedule next week, hopefully, given the fact no life stressors come. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave a comment down below. I would love to respond and chat it up with you guys. Until next time, bye.